For 20 plus years, Dr. Eve has developed and implemented promotion programs in the mental health field. As co-founder of Disruptor DAO, she brings that information to us, Wellness Wednesdays. And without further ado, Dr. Eve.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. This is exciting to be here. I'm going to turn my video off so I could have the full screen and we can start our evening. So, as I mentioned, I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Last week, we delved into the concept of wealth as our birthright and breaking free from limiting beliefs. Well, today we're diving even deeper because 2024 is poised to be a game changer for wealth building. So we're going to talk about money mindset and factors that can influence the market in a positive way. Because ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer going to be left behind. That's our motto. So it's time to disrupt our current wealth divide. So, because really there should be no reason why there's a significant gap between ethnicities when it comes to household medium wealth, right? As you can see the difference there. So factors that impact the market. Folks, we're not late. We have the early bird advantage, which means this refers to the benefits gained by those who are quick to adapt to new technologies. So let's talk about some of these things, right? When we think about presidential elections, it's been reported that the S&P 500, that's what tracks our market, has not declined during a presidential re-election since 1952. In fact, it's averaged 12.2% annual gains. Another couple of factors: approval of Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin halving. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the next slides. But one of the most important factors, in my opinion, is mindset. Understanding wealth is our birthright, and releasing those limited beliefs, educating ourselves, refusing the status quo is where we need to be. So we're here tonight because we want to stress it's time to be intentional, folks, to prioritize our financial well-being and seize the incredible opportunities that today's market has to offer. And I know some of you may think you're late in the game, but remember, as new investors, I'm going to stress again, we have the early bird advantage. All right, so now let's talk about that a little bit more. So if we go back to what is an ETF, this is going to be, folks, an oversimplified definition for ETF, which stands for an exchange-traded fund. It's a basket of investments, right? It allows you to invest in different securities at the same time, like stocks and bonds. And now it will include cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. So you see, folks, on January 10th, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approved this inclusion of Bitcoin ETFs. So in short, what does that mean? To me, that means this approval is like the bridge that connects traditional finance and the world of cryptocurrencies. Now, let's go to our next topic. Or very much related, why are Bitcoin ETFs a game changer? Do we understand, folks, what we mean by a game changer? I mean, having an ETF now approved to have Bitcoins, it legitimizes digital currency. It makes it more accessible and accepted in conventional financial circles. Folks, this has the possibility of attracting a flood of institutional and retail investors into the market. So when we say we're early in the game, there's a lot happening this year. But, we're pretty much at the tail end of this early game changer. So we need to really think about how we're going to be playing in this field. Let's talk about Bitcoin halving. Do folks here understand Bitcoin halving? I don't know if we could just raise our hands for those who don't understand what Bitcoin halving is. Because I know this is a lot of buzzwords. Well, let me simplify it for some of you folks. Imagine you had a limited edition of a valuable item, and suddenly the production is cut in half. What happens? The existing pieces become more valuable. Well, the same principle applies with Bitcoin, right? It's like a built-in system that occurs approximately 4 years, and it reduces the rate at which new Bitcoins are created. So it's a way to control the supply of new Bitcoins entering the system. And this in itself creates a scarcity. What do we know about scarcity? Right? Scarcity, when we think we're running out of something, everybody wants it, right? So think about that limited edition. Price goes up, the same thing happens with Bitcoin. Now, if we think about it, folks, here's what happened. We've already had 3 halvings in the past, right? Since the inception of Bitcoin. So if you look at the screen, right, we went from, in 2012, from $12 to over 1,000. In 2016, from 535 to over 19,000. In 2020, from 8,000 to 67,000. Yes, this fluctuates just like the stock market. But with all these changes, this is projected to really surge. So let's put this in perspective. I don't know how many of you actually have retirement funds, but imagine now you having a piece of the pie, a piece of this Bitcoin in your retirement funds. Imagine having it at the price and the value that is now. Imagine if Bitcoin reaches what it predicts, right? What it's projected to reach, over 150, 200,000, 500,000. Yes, that's going to be a sweet basket. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way I view this. This Bitcoin halving creates a rhythm in the market, and those who understand and align with this rhythm may actually find themselves on the advantageous side of the crypto journey. And we want all of you to be here in this journey. And quite honestly, even if it's not cryptocurrency that you're investing in, whether it's traditional stocks or whether it's a digital currency, it is our time. There's no reason for us to continue to be left behind, right? So let's think about Apple, Amazon, Tesla. I mean, yes, 1980, $22 a share. 1997, $18 a share. Tesla, 2010, people were laughing at Elon Musk when they were talking about electronic vehicles. Now, what are our rates? Well, according to yesterday, as of yesterday, Apple was at 194, Amazon 155, Tesla 208. There's room for us to play in the market. Now, we've talked about the fundamentals that can drive our financial independence, right? We talked about the timing, the personal timing. And actually, no, I'm sorry. We talked about timing the market. But what's even more important here, folks, is your timing. We need to provide the time to nurture our money mindset. We need that time to be able to ask ourselves, how will we prioritize time to strengthen our mindset? How are we going to prioritize time to be curious and courageous? How are we going to play in this market? Because as an investor, this can represent an increase in your financial wealth, but it doesn't just increase. This is not just about the money. It's not about increasing our financial wealth, folks. This is about the freedom to design the life that you want. It's about crafting a life that resonates with your true self. So yes, mindset matters. And as we think about this, it is time to also release some of those beliefs, right? And I know some of us right now are thinking, I missed the boat. We need to release that because we're here, right? So apart from these limiting beliefs that we don't have time, I'm not good in math, there's a cap on what we as women can achieve, financial success is only for certain demographics. No, folks, let me ask you, what did we just celebrate last Monday? And if I need to slow down, please let me know, because I know when I get passionate, I talk very quickly. But what did we celebrate last Monday? Anyone?
Martin Luther King, no?
That's right. And what was one of his most prized authored poetry? What was that titled? What did he write?
I have a dream.
That's right. I have a dream. What's your dream? See, because what was one of his most treasured writings, it wasn't just about civil rights. It was about envisioning a future free from the constraints of societal limitations. But folks, let's keep it real. When we keep dreaming or reflecting of what we do not have, what's missing in our lives, or how hard we have to work to make a living, these streams of thoughts can actually keep us chained to low vibration, which in essence keeps us stuck. The power of words are a very real thing. We say it enough and we will act accordingly. It is time to claim the freedom to dream big and pursue our aspirations without constraints. Reframing these beliefs, yes, it could boost our confidence and motivation, align our thoughts and vibrations. But when we don't prioritize our financial well-being, where is there time left to be able to do these things? So I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but I got to tell you, this was hard for me to do. It took me a lot of personal work to release some of my own limiting beliefs. And one of my main ones was I just do not have enough time. Because folks, I spent so much time implementing programs, setting out, putting out fires in my family, taking care of all these other things that I thought, and that were important. But what I wasn't doing was prioritizing my own financial well-being, my own self-care. So I was limiting what I could potentially leave behind as a legacy from my family. So now my main priority right now is making sure that I make time each day, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Hey, and we have a community here of resources, so I know I could spend some time, and I invite you to do the same. So let's talk about 2 very simple, practical strategies for overcoming or limiting beliefs, right? In the spirit of Dr. King's dream, let's release those limiting beliefs that may constrain us. Let's embrace new narratives around money. I challenge you tonight. I challenge you right now to identify at least one thought that can undermine your financial confidence. Then ask yourself, how many of your generations carried those very thoughts? Did they really originate with you? Perhaps not so. So release it. What does not serve you doesn't have to stay with you. You don't have to, and here's another very important thing, folks, and for this, I'll turn on my camera here. You don't have to do this alone, because we got a huge community here. You don't have to work solo. And because research shows when you work in community, more things can be accomplished. So I ask you guys, what's your community? Because right here, right now, you have Disruptor DAO. You have a wonderful community that you could be a part of, which we will also talk about, Journey to Wealth. And the CEO, Alicia Holmes, what she does is fabulous. But you have to be able to open up your doors to receive that. We have our crypto allies, BK Crypto. Once a month, they provide this free service where they embrace education and they talk about how to educate and follow their suit. They not talk the talk, they walk the walk. They try to educate anyone and everyone willing to hear about what you can do and accomplish in this market. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of resources out there. There's no reason why we have to walk solo in this. So, folks, for the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about mindset. Yes, we have not been talking about, well, how do you buy a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? Well, what is an exchange? What is a wallet? We invite you to continue to join us because we will be talking about this each and every way. And we're going to talk about other resources in a moment to try to support you in that. But right now, what I ask all of you is to take action. So here on the screen, there are 4 bullets. I would like you to identify a thought about money that you've inherited or generated that doesn't serve you. I want you to think of a time that you had a bad experience with money. What lesson did you learn from it? I want you to realize a routine in your schedule, or release a routine in your schedule, rather, so you can prioritize financial well-being. I know there's some of you that have 3 to 4 different volunteer projects that you have to work on, or that are doing 3 or 4 drama related or working on 3 or 4 dramas that belong to other folks. We'll start releasing those. Now this is about you. Maybe you want to wake up 30 minutes earlier to try to figure out, how do I budget? How do I invest? How do I look at my portfolios? How do I learn something new? I invite you to make Wednesday Wellness part of your program. It's about educating ourselves. It's about making schedule and time for ourselves, putting that in our schedules. Identify a community member who will support you in your financial dreams, or become more active in our Disruptor DAO. So I'm going to wrap this discussion because now I'm done to hear what you all have to say. So I'm going to zip it for a little bit. Let me ask you, what resonates in this discussion for you? Or I also ask anyone willing to volunteer, what on the screen are you willing to work on tonight, tomorrow, on Sunday? So, folks, let me hear from you. Would love to hear from you. And I know that's a lot in a mouthful that I just said. What's your takeaway?
Hi, Evelyn. This is Terry.
Hi, Terry.
My takeaway, first of all, is that I had to open myself up and open my mind up to new opportunities, new possibilities. I had to step outside. I have to step outside my comfort zone. I had to realize where past traumas actually shaped the life I built around myself, and how that no longer serves me as I step into this new opportunity of possibility. And I declare that this year, 2024, is the year of me, where I put me, my needs, my psychological needs, my mental needs, my physical needs, my spiritual needs, and my financial needs, and wants first.
I love that. And congratulations. And thank you for sharing that, because you have just inspired someone, if not more, on this chat. I'm going to share a little bit about some of the writings. Tahina shared, I'm willing to work on money management and focusing on other areas as far as looking into different investment opportunities. I congratulate you, because you know what? When we write it, we manifest it. So Tina, you used to use money as therapy, retail spending, no more. All right, girlfriend.
Yeah, I
I
like that one.
congratulate you on that. Anyone else? Share.
This is Shimoda, and I like what you said, that you said you had no time, and that's usually my conversation. And also you mentioned that even if you could just do 5 minutes, and sometimes I forget that, oh, if I just put on a video for 5 minutes to learn something new, or to look at what I'm investing in, or what's the next thing to invest in, that would help a lot. Each 5 minute adds up.
You know what? We could even listen to a little we could listen to a replay. We could listen on if we miss, look, we all have a lot on our schedule. But sometimes when we at least register and sign up for some of these great opportunities, just yesterday, Journey to Wealth gave a wonderful presentation on the digital gold rush. I knew I couldn't be there because I was attending another event. However, at least I know that now with the access to the replay, I could see it. So even if you think you can't attend, if you register, it allows you an opportunity to look at those replays at your own accord. There's always opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone else? Anyone willing to take a risk to share an answer to this question? What thought about money that you've inherited or generated doesn't serve you or belongs to 2, 3,
I got
4
one.
generations?
I was, it's Tina. One of ours was always, I'm broke. So before, I think sometimes, even as adulthood, it was said in the form of being cute, like, girl, I'm broke, it does as like a saying after a while. But I had to talk to a family member about making that her statement before she would even know what I was asking her about. Sometimes, like, every time you say that, we reinforce it. But I realized growing up, that's what we always heard. But we never lacked for anything. But we had but the mentality was there, was that we was broke.
And you know what? And so here's something I really do believe, this is my own opinion, that when we keep thinking we are broke, we will operate accordingly. That's what I had said like 4 slides back. So that's why we have to kind of be very conscious of what comes out of our mouths. What we're thinking creates a vibration in us. So I'm also going to recommend that as you're having these thoughts and you're seeing yourself in abundance in your rightful place, if your vibration does not feel the same, turn on some good music there that will bring it up there. Write, dance, call someone that's going to lift you, because sometimes what we think and what we feel are not aligned. And sometimes we need that push. We need that, elevation, and that's where community also comes in. No one should be solo, right? So think about that as well. This is the process. It's not simple, right? So I grew up in poverty. So even now that I'm not in poverty, sometimes I'm still operating as I am, right? So that's called conditioning. We need to release that, because this timing of the market right here, as we know it, it has an abundance of opportunities.